South Africa is on fire right now. Not literally, well, in some places literally. But the immigration debate has exploded into something that is no longer just a domestic argument. It has become an international incident. And this week, it got a whole lot more complicated. Welcome to Political Pulse, where we keep our pulse on the nation. Let's start with where we are right now, because things are moving fast. Anti-migrant groups are demanding that undocumented migrants leave the country. They have set 30 June as a deadline, just 3 weeks away. That is not a protest movement anymore. That is an ultimatum. The President Cyril Ramaphosa responded on Sunday evening with a nationally televised address from the Union buildings and announcing a sweeping package of measures. So immigration courts to speed up deportation, tighter border controls, crackdowns on employers hiring undocumented workers. So a biometric population register that will be, and harsher penalties for corruption inside the immigration system. So that is strong words, big announcements, and in the same breath, Ramaphosa warned that the responsibility for enforcing the immigration laws rests with the state and the state alone. Fair enough, but here's the real question South Africans are asking right now. Where was all of this 5 years ago? 10 years ago. Because the problem didn't start Sunday. And now, just days later, the story has crossed our borders. Nigeria Foreign Minister Bianca Ojukwu, she has threatened that Nigeria might retaliate against South Africa for alleged attacks on its nationals. She didn't give details, but she was very clear that it is, in her words, not off the table. She said South African police refused to act when properties were looted, and that the South African government had not come out firmly enough to condemn these incidents. Now, Nigeria is also preparing to fly out its citizens home. Between 2,000 and 4,000 Nigerian nationals are expected to return. And Nigeria is not alone. Malawi has already begun deporting citizens. Ghana has flown out nearly 963 of its nationals over the last 3 weeks. Mozambique has provided buses to bring home over 1,100 of its people. Think about what that means for a second. Multiple African countries are actively airlifting and busing their citizens out of South Africa. There is not a small diplomatic awkwardness. There is a regional crisis. And this is where the story gets really interesting. Because there is a direct contradiction sitting in the middle of all of this. Less than a week before Ramaphosa's address, he and the Kenyan president, William Ruto, they were standing together at the Union building promoting trade investment and African immigration, African solidarity, one continent and one future. And then days later, South Africa is sending people to the other countries to explain why they are cracking down on illegal foreign immigration. So the same building, the same week, two completely opposite messages. The international relations manager, Minister Ronald Lamola, went on to Ghana's Joy FM this week and admitted that recent anti-foreign tensions has affected South Africa's relations on the continent. And that is his direct words. Yes, it has, and that is why he said we feel duty bound to explain to our African sister countries. So, to summarize, South Africa is now in a position where it needs to send diplomats across Africa to explain itself. This is a significant movement or moment, and it did not happen overnight. Now think to yourself, how does a country that positions itself as the champion of African integration end up with multiple neighboring governments flying their citizens out of fear? The answer is the same one we keep on coming to this channel for: governance, or more precisely, the long, slow failure. Ramaphosa himself acknowledged failures in migration management and corruption within the immigration system in his address. So there is an important admission, because government is essentially saying, we know this system has not been working properly, and now under intense public pressure and international spotlight, we are going to fix it. So here's the honest problem with that. South Africa has 832 immigration officers for the entire country. The Border Management Authority, the BMA, they were created specifically to fix the border problem. And they are operating at roughly 25% of its intended staffing capacity. Those are not the opposition stats, those are government's own numbers. So you cannot announce a crackdown on a system that was never properly created or built in the first place. So, and the diplomatic fallout is now starting to carry an economic price tag, because in 2019, the National Association of Nigeria, Nigerian students, they've organized a protest that shut down MTN ShopRite offices across Nigeria. And there was also a tax on MultiChoice and other South African businesses. Now that happened before, and with Nigeria now openly discussing retaliation, the business community is watching very carefully. Because Business Unity South Africa and Business Leadership South Africa warned last week that hostility towards foreign nationals risk damaging cross-border trade and South Africa's relationship on the continent, threatening trade corridors and undermining the environment in which South African companies operate elsewhere in Africa. For example, MTN operates across Africa, Standard Bank, they also operate across Africa. South African retailers, insurers and telecoms companies have spent decades building businesses on the continent. All of that is now sitting in a more uncomfortable position than it was 2 weeks ago. Now, here's the part that needs to be said clearly, because it often gets lost in this debate. The frustration driving the protest is real. The pressure on the public services, it is real. South Africans are asking questions about who is in this country and on what basis. This is completely a legitimate democratic conversation. Nobody should be shouted down for asking those questions, but there is a line, and that line has been crossed. 2 Nigerian nationals have died, one after an alleged interaction with the SANDF and soldiers in Port Elizabeth, another following alleged incident involving Tshwane Metro Police. So the SANDF denies the involvement, but investigations are ongoing. But those are lives, and lives lost in the middle of a political moment like this carries weight, both morally and diplomatically. And Ramaphosa was right when he said no individual has the right to stop someone in the streets to demand proof of nationality. That is not immigration enforcement, that is mob rule. And mob rule dressed up as patriotism is still mob rule. So where does this leave South Africa? The question the Mail and Guardian asked this week is exactly the right one. Can South Africa remain a champion of African integration while simultaneously pursuing one of its toughest migration crackdowns in years? And the honest answer is only if the crackdown is done properly, lawfully, and through a state that actually has the capacity to enforce it. Right now, the state is still being built. And 30 June, the deadline from anti-migrant groups is not going to wait for the Border Management Authority to reach the full staffing. That tension is the South Africa is living right. That is the tension South Africans are living in right now. Frustration, a government announcing solutions that have been implemented a decade ago, an international community watches closely, and a continent that needs South Africa to get this right. Not just for its own sake, but for the sake of African integration as a whole. The cracks were always there. The questions now is whether South Africa fixes the wall or keeps repainting it. That is Political Pulse for today. This story is still developing daily, so stay close. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Where do you stand, and what do you think government is getting right, and what is still being avoided? Keep it honest, keep it respectful, and as always, keep your pulse on the nation.